working hours. A figure in the window caught the attention of everyone in the office. At first, I looked at the figure, and I looked away from the female staff who came to check it, and I didn't think it was strange. But when the camera comes to the window, the girl's doubts are finally understood. After all, they're in the upper office, and there is no balcony outside the window. The dark shadow is definitely floating in the air when it appears outside the window on the other side. This speculation is completely confirmed. However, there is also an office building on the opposite side of the building. So, could the shadow be from the other side? Since sending a video of a pet bird to a friend, Crossley has confirmed the presence of spirits in the house. Later, when he was tracing the source of the strange sound, he caught a figure more clearly. Crossley had no idea that there were a pair of eyes watching him in the dark corner. Since the release of this video, Crossley was cut off. Let's hope he just moved away. This abandoned palace temple. It is rumored that some delinquent teenagers often gather here. There was a young couple who had kowtowed. As a result, the children on the second floor were starved to death. Eventually, it became a haunted place. Everyone seems to think it's a bit short, because I saw some comments. Not long after entering the building, someone came up with something weird on the ceiling. Because there is some to see. It does look a bit like a human face, but could it be just with grain? This is one of our fans. He rode by. He heard it. It's like a child crying. He said he called me. I don't know if it's because he's sad. Or how about it? I don't know very well. Wait a minute. There was a childish voice. But this is simply not possible. When it comes up again and hears clearly, when they are saying, you'll know it's creepy. I'm all over my head right now. Blank. Behind these young people. There is not a young woman. I don't know what I sucked in this place. Then finally hang up. If that's the case, it's a drug addiction until it hangs up. It is troublesome when such a thing is. Could it be the teenagers who died from overdoses trapped here in the hope of being rescued? past fires and accidents have led to the abandonment of the site. Many people believe that there will be more paranormal activities during the Ghost Month. Seoul blogger Chin Ming will challenge a series of taboos in this abandoned factory. Will something strange happen to him? After the common sense of whistles to attract ghosts has been blown away, Chin Ming began the second experiment. It is said that spirits tend to gather in the moisture of the walls. If you walk around the wall, may hit ghosts. Okay, go casually this time. Okay, the last lap is done. Is there anything unusual about the porcelain sprinkling in this place? Oh! Just this momentum is relatively strong. In fact, the line surface that was circled just now. Actually, there is that line when you go inside, but I think it's a distraction. That's why I don't have that. On the last lap, the magnetic field in the corner cried aside. The instrument kept making a screeching sound. But does that really mean that the summoning was successful? In response to this anomaly, Xingming uses the soul box to have a conversation. I'd like to ask for advice. It is just a little brother. There was walking against the wall in that room. One has been detected. A place where the magnetic field is more chaotic. I would like to ask you. That one, isn't it one of the spirits I summoned? Walk away like this. A ghost summoned by walking against a wall? If that's the case, please give it to me. Please, touch the machine and listen to it. There is no confirmation that the spirit is outside of the information that is recruited. Did anyone notice the problem from the picture? When the light is turned on, a transparent shadow moves to the left, as if its appearance is touching. Do you think this mysterious white shadow could be a spirit? Tristan recently uploaded a series of videos of what was going on at home. I hope I can get help from netizens. Hearing the strange, hurried sound in the living room, Tristan did not hesitate to take out his phone and prepare to record. Seeing that the toilet doorknob kept swinging back and forth, he saw an opportunity to push it open. As a result, there was no one in the narrow space at all, and the space behind the door was also cleared out after adjusting the brightness. You know, these immaterial things certainly don't move in just one area. Hush, 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 hush. As the curtain falls, the sense of control of the other side keeps spinning. If you have a bad heart, you will really be scared to death. This abandoned house is about to be demolished. No one knows what happened to him. But the local villagers knew that he had a problem and stayed away. What will Chin Min's investigation find? But I must say, it's a strange house. Hello, brothers. I would like to ask you, this place, what kind of things have happened in this life? Yes. Then I would like to ask, someone here will hear some strange noises. I want to ask, this place, is there a good brother who used to be? Is there a celebration of good brothers? Yes. There is something going on, but I don't know much about that. I'm not going to have a long history. This one is not clear. Then I'd like to ask for advice. Someone will hear this. What is that black shadow emerging from the room where the camera is located? Let me ask for advice. Someone floats up and down after probing horizontally, but no one else came into the house. Lambert recently released a surveillance video. In the middle of the night, she found herself standing still in the living room on the first floor. Hurriedly woke up his wife. That moment in my mind. I've always thought about you. That moment in my mind. I've always thought about you. That moment in my mind. That moment in my mind. That moment in my mind. I've always thought about you. That moment in my mind. I've always thought about you. That moment in my mind. However, just as the two of them mustered up their courage and were about to go downstairs to teach each other a lesson, the man in black, facing the wall, left quietly. Subsequently, Lambert and his wife searched for the whole house, but did not find each other. After watching the surveillance video, the wife was surprised to find that her back was very similar to her husband. This made her wonder if her home had been invaded by imitators. Some netizens said that it was a head. Do you agree? Someone will hear this. It's long past the end of school. Today, Ferdy's son has not returned. In worry, Ferdy took his family to school. As a result, when passing through the woods, I found a child sitting on the ground. I saw an unknown figure beside the child. Ferdy was bold and rushed forward, intending to outflank him with his family. Unexpectedly, the other party disappeared in an instant. Ferdy's child's eyes were glazed over, as if he had been hypnotized. Is this evil? Could it be Kundi Lanik not so long ago? Previously, in one episode, introduced the strange arrow gate of warehouse porter Lida. He seems to be entangled in the spirit of a young boy. That night, at homework, he spotted a sneaky figure in the rearview mirror. However, after Lida followed, he couldn't find any trace of the other party. The whole warehouse was eerily quiet. This made Lida, who worked alone, very panicked. But in fact, Lida has discovered this situation for the second time. Here, I am alone. It all started on that day. I want you to check it out. There's that carpet. Right? Look, I'm alone. There is no one here. Look. Lita inadvertently saw a black figure walking towards his location from the reflective plastic sheet. Strangely, the other party did not leave a footstep sound. He thought a stranger had broken in. So I was going to go over and ask the other party about their intentions. But after a lot of searching, I didn't find the man. That man was right there. At this time, Lita didn't realize that he had messed with something unclean. Deer posted a video on the network. He wants to sell a car. But this is not Deer's own car. It's his sister's. Unfortunately, because of the accident, Deer's sister died. It has a lot to get lost. But it was able to be clean. Here's the front. Here's the back. Here's the back. I do not know. If you're interested, please let me know what you think. Did you all hear that? When Dill plunged his lens into the car to shoot, a woman's cry seemed to be right in the seat. However, Dill seems to have been completely unnoticed until netizens saw the video of her shooting the car and left a message. Dill reacted. Could it be that Sister Dill's soul has been trapped on it since the accident? Or is it just that Dill made such a drama for the sake of traffic? Edwin, an Indonesian soul blogger, received a break from the member. During the filming of the movie Kundi Lanik 2, they found a very scary mansion. Edwin was intrigued. Go to investigate on a night. Wait a moment for the song to end. Wait a while. Oops. Hurry up, everyone. To the audience here, try to show us. See if it's reality or sound. The song is almost over. Edwin stands next to a portrait and photographs it. It can be discovered later. Smiling eyes seem to change slowly. But in addition to the horror, I can feel some nasal fluid. Could it be that Edwin is the result of his stinky eyebrows in front of the ghosts? Jimmy used to be an adventure blogger in an abandoned house on the outskirts of a ghost town. He documented the experience. The whole video looks bland, but in fact, many netizens suspect that there may really be something wrong with this house. There's a detail I don't know if you've noticed. When Jimmy first walked in the door, the doll on the corner chair is lying on it. But when he left, he sat up. It's Jimmy rummaging through his room. Did anyone enter the house? But it was not heard in the video. There were footsteps outside. The next thing to do is... The child woke up at 3 a.m. In a panic, he rushed into his father's room, shivering as he talked about something on the ceiling. The girl's father told her it might just be insects, and let him go back to sleep. But in the morning, I saw the surveillance department. The father was frightened. The lights flickered at the same time. The sound of the switch being pressed can be clearly heard. It's like there's really someone in the toilet. But the girl's parents were sleeping. What's even weirder, the girl who woke up kept looking at the ceiling. It seems that there really is something terrifying floating overhead. The girl's father realizes that maybe what the child says is true. I can't help but panic. A few days later, more strange things happen in the house. To make the kids feel safe, the father sent the child to sleep in a different room. But that didn't stop things from happening. Balls of light shuttled through the youngest daughter's bedroom. During this time, 3 unidentified sounds can be clearly heard. The following night, the sound was louder. Things seemed to be getting out of hand, and Keek's eldest daughter felt a touch while she was sleeping, and a force grabbed her legs. The girl woke up and began to look around the room, but there was no one at the bedside. Facing horrible things, the girl was at a loss. Here's a Christian cemetery in Japan. The Black City Soul Quest team travels here one night to conduct a paranormal investigation. Team member T-Chi, after starting to investigate on his own, there was a series of screams. Although he is this virtue in every episode of the show. It's scary atmosphere. I didn't expect it to be opened. Wow, cross. Why is this place all paved? Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. It's amazing. There was a sound just now. This one. I don't see it's open here. Yes, really. Ah. Start here with a one-person check. Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Someone over there. Really fake. The lights are gone. Wow, wow, wow. Wait a minute. Really fake. Why are the lights gone? There's a sound. Hey, the lights have dimmed. Shortly after the candle was lit, at the door of the church. The candlelight was getting darker and darker, and suddenly it was accompanied by a sound of the iron door slapping. The candle was finally extinguished, and he deliberately sturdy his legs flew dozens of meters away. After calming down for a while, he was ready to go back and check again. How did I really see something terrifying? Let's take a look at what his device captures. At the entrance of the church, a vague figure appeared, seemingly legless, and only the upper body was floating in the air. But thinking that it was in the middle of the night, it was very reasonable to see a ghost. The Mouth Road TV investigation team. The experience in an abandoned mansion. In order to encounter more agility, they chose to stay still at midnight. So, will the two of them really be able to get what they want? The two bloggers suddenly fell silent. It seems to hear the voice of a child. Is it possible to shoot? Is it possible to shoot? The red thread is wound around the iron frame on both sides. Surround the altar on the earth. A few conspicuous pieces of ruined paper. It seems to be something used to suppress evil. The whole space can be described as breathtaking. What is hidden under this mansion? It is said to be a stone. The voice of a child in the hallway caught their attention. A camera set up in the entrance recorded the strange sound. However, the two did not notice anything unusual in the hallway. They then went to the second floor. Inside a room with a key, the yellow-haired team member suddenly shouted, "Is it going to be here again?" But the footage taken from their handheld cameras, I don't see anything wrong. Is it a corridor on the first floor again? The location of the stairs. A dark shadow in the shape of a child came out. About this staircase, since everything in this house seems to be gradually coming to the surface. Sounds are heard coming from the room where the altar is located. The two had no choice but to re-enter. This time, the yellow-haired team members crossed the red line and made their way to the altar. After a close-up shot, he seemed to feel a general malaise. This time, the yellow-haired team members crossed the red line and made their way to the altar. Is this psychological, or is it affected by dirty things? Is this psychological, or is it affected by dirty things? Is this psychological, or is it affected by dirty things? Is this psychological, or is it affected by dirty things? Is this psychological, or is it affected by dirty things? Is this psychological, or is it affected by dirty things? Kaz is a blogger. Misha's friend wanted to come to the house, join her in the discussion. I didn't expect to be harassed all the time. What is this sound? I felt it move in the back. All the clothes started moving. It's like hurry, hurry, hurry. Don't do that. Oh my God. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is anyone there? I'm gonna make a video. What to do? I think so. Perhaps the spirit was just trying to get the attention of Misha's friends, not trying to intimidate him. It shouldn't be a big problem, is it? Sully takes the puppy for a walk in the woods near his home one night. Originally, as usual, they walked around and went home. However, this time the puppy's behavior was abnormal. The puppy suddenly turned around, staring into the depths of the woods and not moving. Sully felt bad and picked up his phone and swept deep into the woods. A pale face floated in the darkness. The lower body is translucent. But apparently Sully did not see this terrifying figure. After looking around and seeing that there was no one, he pulled the puppy and left. Maybe it's because you feel that the other party has no malicious intent. The puppy will follow and leave. But the strange thing is when the phone turns to that position again. The strange figure is gone. Although Sully walked his dog with his mobile phone to take pictures, aroused the suspicion of many netizens. But the puppy's reaction is natural. So what do you think? Kaz is a blogger who shares his daily life. In the countryside of Vietnam, he walked along the path in the field with his stereo, humming a little song However, he seems to be entangled in something unclean. It didn't take long for the video to start. A hand was placed on Kaz's shoulder. Kaz didn't feel touched, though. In the aftermath, no one can be seen behind him. Is this hand really a ghost hand? Or is it Kaz's obsession with traffic? Two young men were still swaying passionately in front of the tunnel in the middle of the night. As everyone knows, a half-cut body floating in the air has quietly come behind them. When the person taking the picture in the car saw this scene, he immediately stopped filming. I don't know if he got out of the car to remind these two young people who were in excitement, or drive away immediately. After experiencing a series of paranormal phenomena, the netizen decided to start the live stream on YouTube. Show how haunted your home is. The camera first recorded the placement of the 9 screens at the corner of the corridor. When the lights were turned off and the sound of bottles clashing could be heard in the darkness, the blogger turned on the lights again, and the bottles that had been placed on top of the wooden box seemed to fall. However, some viewers believe that there must be someone inside on the other side of the hallway. In the face of these doubts, the blogger quickly refuted it with the next operation. An SLS camera is firing. 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 An SLS camera is pointed into a dark hallway. A humanoid skeleton in the shape of a child suddenly appears on the screen. Although there are no lights on in the corridor at this time, but you can still see that there is no one inside. After the psychic box received some unidentified voices, the humanoid skeleton disappeared with it. If it is said that the object is placed in a similar way to a human form, well, in this video, this should not be the case in a dimly lit hallway. What do you guys in front of the screen think of the strange things happening in this blogger's home? Recent, an elderly subway conductor in Mexico has a strange thing happening. At the end of the day, he and the rest of the flight crew were attracted by a strange voice, so began to investigate the source of the sound. After investigation, several people were investigated. The sound of certainty came from under the train. At first they wondered if there were people or animals hiding inside. However, find all the space where you can hide people. None of them found anything. The sound you hear from the video is indeed a bit like Baihansheng. But when the camera gets closer to the bottom of the train, it sounds like a mechanical sound. So could it just be a part of the train that failed? According Community security in Casper. This day was on duty at night. I saw things I never believed before. After a cloud of white mist slowly rose from the ground, floating around in the picture, Casper Han came to watch together at the same time, but none of them knew what it was. After seeing the child's weird behavior in the middle of the night, Lulu's found time to inquire about the file. What did Lulu's see in the surveillance? The child stared wide-eyed into the corner, without blinking and with a wicked smile. Unfortunately, the blind spot of the camera does not allow Lulu's to figure out what the child is seeing. Is it true that an angel came to the room in the middle of the night? As the child said, Fakhri, who is a lone night guard, finally has an accident that night. Eden, who lives in Frankfurt, Germany, witnessed the wonders of the city on one night. There are three glowing objects floating in the night sky, and they have been condensed in the souls within. There are three glowing objects floating in the night sky, and the souls that have been condensed in them. There are three glowing objects floating in the night sky, and the souls that have been condensed in them. There are three glowing objects floating in the night sky, and the souls that have been condensed in them. Extremely fast shuttle, if they go and don't return. It can also be guessed as a shooting star. But the truth is, these luminaries shuttle back and forth many times. They are chasing each other like living objects. When these luminaries disappear, they slow down. It's not clear what the truth is behind it. Judging by Eden's two videos, this kind of thing seems to happen a lot in Frankfurt. Hannah, who was home alone, finished dinner, playing with his phone in his seat. Suddenly, she heard something strange.
Hello?
seems to be the sound of wood rubbing. Hannah immediately became suspicious of the stairs, but the voice did not reappear. Suddenly, the pet dog barked, clearly feeling threatened. After picking up the puppy, she walked up the stairs to check on the situation. Although there is no anomaly in the darkness to be seen, but the puppy buried his head in Hannah's arms. The unusual has already been hinted at. Sure enough, something ran towards her in the next second. The sound of footsteps falling on the stairs mutated into the sound of a rushing run. Hannah turned around and fled. Hannah said afterwards, strange things had already happened in the family before, but only this time, it was what she feared the most. After seeing a suspicious figure approaching from the surveillance, Fakhri went out to check. Unfortunately, he saw only two white shadows flying into the night sky, and the person in the monitor could not be found in the darkness. Soon, Fakhri realized that the shadows flying up were the targets he was looking for. At this point, he fell into deep fear and hurriedly fled back to the surveillance room.